Hey Stitchers, today I want to do the stitchy time or stitcher time tag, and while doing that I decided to stitch a little. I have all the 20 questions and I will answer them, so let's get started. Question number 1. Your favorite fabric? To be honest, I don't really have a favorite fabric, because so far I've mainly stitched on Aida, and there my favorite count is either 18 count or 20 count. I like both. Both have good coverage, and yeah, that's the main reason for me liking a fabric or not. Then with even weave, I just stitched a few projects on even weave so far, and it works. But so far I've not really found a count that I really like. I suspect that because I like the 16 count and 18 count, that I will, the 18 and 20 count. I will also like the 36 count and 40 count. So those of you who might have seen my whole video know that I got a gigantic piece of 40 count, and I will stitch on that one soon to see if I really like it as much as I think. Question number 2. Hoop or frame? To be honest, that really depends on the project. Hoop, I never stitch with a hoop. I really like a hoop. I tried it once, I really didn't like it and never tried it again. So for me it's rather the question hand, Q-snap or scroll frame. So projects like this, for example the towel where it is really thick here to put into a Q-snap, I'm scared to damage the clamps. I'm stitching it in hand, as well as really small projects that hardly fit into any Q-snap. All my small and medium-sized Q-snaps projects are stitched in Q-snaps. And all my big projects, but at the moment I only have one map, so my Middle-earth map is stitched on a scroll frame. Question number 3. Do you use a stand or just hold your frame? That's easy as well, because if I stitch on the map, I have my stand, the stand my daddy made me. If I stitch on anything else, I'm holding it, but hopefully he will build me an attachment soon, so I can actually stitch on something in the Q-snap and put that Q-snap on the stand on the other side, so I can stitch two-handed. Question number 4. What's your favorite time to stitch? I don't really have a favorite time to stitch. It's rather when do I have time to stitch. Because as you might know, I have a lot of stuff to learn, so I'm spending most of my time studying. But I take my projects, my small projects, with me to class, so that I'm studying during seminars and lectures. And then when I'm at home, I'm taking breaks while studying and using those breaks mainly to stitch. And in the evening, I'm trying to take at least 1 hour per day to stitch on my map. So I'm stitching all over the day and I take the time I can get. Question number 5. Do you use a printed paper copy of your chart or digital? Again, that really depends on the project and where I stitch. Because when I'm on the go, I'm not having my laptop with me every time. So when I'm on the go on my small projects, I stitch on a paper chart. For example, the pattern for this project here is a paper chart too. So whoop, short lines. But for example, Middle Earth map is on my computer and I stitch it from a digital chart. But I also mark off a paper copy because it's already printed anyways. So in case I lose my digital chart where I marked off as well, I still have the paper chart. Question number 6. Are you a floss licker? Oh yes. I'm at the beginning I was just too lazy to use a needle threader. So I was used to it from earlier when I was kind of hand sewing some small things. And now I'm so used to licking my floss that when I'm gridding, like here, that's fishing line. I even lick that when I have to thread it through my needle. Yeah, so I'm definitely a floss licker. Question number 7. Do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? That kind of depends. I try not to hoard, but that's rather difficult because stuff is not widely available around here. So when I get the chance to get something, I usually buy it in bulk and then try to wait until I buy some more again. But when I get a good deal, I will buy again. So I say something in between. I don't buy things I'm sure I will never stitch, even though I like them. So yeah, I'd say something in between. Question number 8. What's your favorite floss? My favorite floss is... I don't really have a favorite floss. So far I've only stitched with Anchor. That's what I'm stitching with here. I've stitched with DMC on the map, and I've stitched with Rico floss, embroidery floss. I don't like Rico that much. It's a little harder to pull through. So I really prefer Anchor and DMC, but besides black, I don't have a favorite between those two, because for black I use Anchor because it has a better coverage, but the rest I just choose what I have and what the pattern calls for. And number 9. Are you a serial starter or do you have a whip at a time? Neither nor. As you know, I'm stitching on the go, so I have to have a small project. And I have my Middle Earth map. So I have a project for at home and I have a project for on the go. At the moment I actually have 3 projects, 1 for at home and 2 for on the go, because I need to finish that one for my mother's birthday. Question number 10. Do you have more UFOs or FFOs? To be honest, I have 1 UFO and 1 FFO, so that's pretty equal. Then, do you watch TV while stitching? I hardly ever watch TV, but I watch a lot of Floss tube while stitching. And I think that qualifies as something rather equal. Question number 12. Do you mostly stitch alone or do you ever get together with somebody to stitch? That question is rather hard for me to answer because, yes, mostly I'm sitting alone stitching at home, but I also stitch at university and I'm definitely not alone in a seminar or even a lecture. And when I'm at home, when there is a hangout, I'm usually joining a hangout. So I would say no, I am not stitching alone very often, just because of those two reasons. Number 13. Do you like to experiment and alter your, things with your chart, or do you stitch them as they're written? I mainly stitch them as charted, but sometimes when I don't like a detail, for example, when I was stitching a monkey, a Christmas monkey, it had some things that looked like sparkly dots all over the place, and I didn't like it and I just left it out. And sometimes I change a color, but the chart mainly stays how it is and is stitched how it was charted. I'm not very creative, so I'm scared to mess something up while changing it, so it mainly stays how it is. Do you bobbinate your floss or not? Most of you might know, but yes, I bobbinate. I bobbinate one skein per color, and then they go into my lovely bobbin boxes. This box is, as you can see, for anchor. It's anchor box number 1 for bobbins from 0 to, let me see, what's the last number? Number 140. For my anchor floss, I have 5 boxes in total. So far, I only have 3 boxes for my DMC, but I will probably need some more soon. So yes, I bobbinate, but only 1 skein per color. And my duplicates just go into a box where they stay, and I have an Excel sheet on my computer where I keep track of how many duplicates I have of which color. So if I run out of a color on a bobbin, I go to the Excel sheet and see if I have that color. If yes, I take it from the box. If no, I will have to either go and buy a new skein, or I actually have to order it if it is DMC. So when I plan a project, I usually plan very well, especially if it is with DMC, because it's so difficult for me to get here. Question number 15. Do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or at the corner? Once again, that really depends on the project. If it is a full coverage, I tend to start in a corner. For example, Middle-earth map, I started in the upper left corner. This project, I started almost in the corner. With projects I grid, I make a middle cross in a different color, like here the orange. Usually I also go that way, but for that project it wasn't really needed. And then I start working on a logical point rather close to the middle. So that elephant was the first one to start on. But as I grid, theoretically, I don't care where I start because it's easier for me to keep track on where I am, and so I just where I want to start. I've also started projects in the lower left corner. So yeah, it really depends. I decide from project to project. Question number 16. Do you have a whip rotation? Nope, not really. I have a rotation in terms of I stitch on the smalls mainly on the go and during studying breaks, and the map in the evenings and when I have a whole day for stitching. But I don't have a plan like this week I will stitch on project 1, that another week I'm stitching on project number 2, and so on. At the moment with my 2 smalls, I had the towel for at home during studying breaks and my other smalls for on the go. But now it is rather like which one will I finish the earliest, and that's definitely the towel. I hope to finish it over the weekend. So I'm mainly stitching on the towel at the moment, not so much on the antique sewing machine. And when that towel is done, I will try to get the sewing machine finished as soon as possible, so they're ready as gifts for my mom. Question number 17. Do you use a timekeeper to keep track of how long it takes you to complete a project? Yes and no. For all projects, I write down when I start, when I stop, and if and how long I took a break. But on Middle Earth Map, I use this kitchen timer to start my time when I start stitching, stop my time when I stop, and write it down in an Excel sheet to see how long I've been stitching on that project. Question number 18. Do you use the parking technique? As my opinion is, there is not the one parking technique, but everybody can have a different kind of style of parking. I sometimes, but very, very rarely park. For example, I parked on the Wolf and some other small projects, but I don't park on this one, and so far I don't park on Middle Earth Map. I might start, but I'm not sure, so I'll just see how it goes and decide if it makes sense for me to start parking. Question number 19. Do you keep your arts? Yes, I keep my arts. I have started to keep my arts because I was mainly stitching on the go, and when I'm on the go I don't want to leave my arts everywhere I am, so I started to use a bag to put all my arts inside, and then at home I started to put it into this glass. You know that from my start of the videos. I want to use 1 jar per year, and I actually have another jar, or rather bottle, for my arts from Middle Earth Map. So my babs will get a oud jar or oud bottle themselves, because it just looks nice. And question number 20. Do you like to have a snack or drink while stitching? There's only one answer to that question, and it's no. No, 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 and no. I'm super picky about cleanness and stuff, so the table I'm stitching on, I actually wiped it before I started stitching. And on the go, I have a pack of baby hand towels, so I can just take out one of those, clean my hands before starting while stitching on the go. For example, when I don't have a bathroom to wash my hands, or when I just ate something small during a lecture because I was hungry and I want to stitch afterwards, I have to wash my hands. Otherwise, I always wash my hands before I start to stitch, and the only thing I'm allowed to drink during stitching is this. It's my water. Nothing else but plain water. No lemonade, no nothing. Because I am scared that I get a stain or something else on my fabric and I might not be able to get it out, and that's just horror for me. So that was my stitchy style tag. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to post a video soon, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you like my videos, I'd appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you soon. Bye.